Today I will be going over the Creed lecture by Kwame Anthony Appiah. The subject of creed is identity and what pieces comprise it. Country, color, religion, and culture could all influence who a person ultimately becomes, but to what extent? Kwame addresses this question through his 4 lectures concerning religion, country, color, and culture. This specific lecture focuses on identity in the realm of religion, hence the title Creed. Creed coming from the Latin root credo, meaning I believe. Kwame begins talking about identity by quickly speaking of his own. He is a British-born Ghanaian, gay. He was raised in Ghana and his parents both practiced 2 separate religions as he grew up. He talks about his parents not only practicing different religions, but they each lived their own. He mentions that it was one of the reasons for their lasting marriage. It is interesting to hear him say that it fueled the success of their marriage. Usually couples either have the same core beliefs or lack the same beliefs. As Kwame continues, you understand why he says that. Identity is a sense of self people hold. Kwame mentions that the self is shaped by family, friends, nationality, religion, and gender. Although identity is very personal, we share different parts of it with millions of others around the world. As a result, making identity a very social thing. Religion, as the topic of this lecture, connects people with some of the oldest stories that humans have, and that is why Creed is the first of his 4 lectures. Kwame asks his audience to look at religion as not simply a matter of belief. Religion instead has 3 dimensions. 1, what you do, which is practice. 2, who you do it with, which is community. And 3, a body of belief. He addresses the issue of it all being that there is too much emphasis on the details of belief being so highly prioritized over the shared practice and community of religion. Because people emphasize the details of belief over the shared practice and community, problems arise such as the inability of a group of people who belong to the same religion to successfully move upward as a community. For example, the failure of Christians to accept same-sex marriage versus their dismissal of the Bible verse in 1 Peter 2:18 that reads, "Slaves, in reverent fear of God, submit yourselves to your masters, not only to those who are good and considerate, but also to those who are harsh." That verse may seem a bit ridiculous, as is the one found in Psalm 137:9 that reads, "Happy is the one who seizes your infants and bashes them against the rocks." This all leads to one thing, interpretation. That is where the disconnect arises and is fueled. Too much focus is being given to details as opposed to community and practice. Because of the different individual interpretations of belief, not only in the Christian religion, but in those in the Muslim religion, Jewish religion, Buddhist religion, and so on, the community dimension of religion becomes weaker, as does the practice dimension, because technically if religion is being interpreted in so many ways, it must mean it is also being practiced in different ways. Religion is obscure according to Kwame and must be interpreted in order to avoid bigger problems. Kwame directs a lot of appreciation towards his ancestors during his lecture. He credits them for his current way of life. He makes it a point to talk about the way people's ancestors contributed to their current states. This is because as individuals, we have the ability to create change where it is needed or leave things the way they are. Differentiating what must be changed and what should not can be confusing, but we are lucky enough to also have that power while living in the hopes of our children and grandchildren continuing that legacy. Therefore, identity directly corresponds with religion or even the lack of religion. Kwame talks about the lack of religion being a community in and of itself. Bringing it back to the success of his parents' marriage, who had separate religions, you now are able to understand why he said their own beliefs fueled the success of their marriage. They focused more on the community aspect and the practice aspects as opposed to the detailed written out body of beliefs. They lived their religions. As Kwame wraps up his lecture, he relays a very deep, thoughtful message. It is that once you think of identities as mutable practices and community as opposed to immutable beliefs, religion becomes more verb than noun. We do not only follow tradition, we create it and change it, which according to Kwame is a blessing and a burden. Thanks for listening and hope you learned something.